hello, and welcome to the first episode of the Cinéaste Cinema Club. And I'm your host, Mickey P33. Today, we're going to be talking about, if you haven't seen already, Mulan, the Disney live action version. The Cinéaste Cinema Club is a book club for cinephiles where we discuss and review movies and sometimes even television shows. So if that's something you like to do, this is the show for you. I'm going to be hosting this show live here on my Twitch channel where we can discuss with you guys in real time. But we also post any VODs or separate reviews on my YouTube channel, Mickey P33. So if you want to watch or are interested in these reviews, feel free to follow those channels. Again, both are Mickey P33 on YouTube and Twitch.tv. And if you're an audio only listener, we do have podcast version. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and anywhere else you get your podcast content. So just search Cineaste Cinema Club in those as well, and we're on there. If you want to join the club, you can follow Cineaste Cinema Club on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. There you can help us suggest what movies we watch, and we'll narrow it down and we'll put up some polls to vote on what movies we're going to watch as a group and then talk about it and review them. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and tell you a little bit about the show here. Since we are just starting out, these reviews won't be live, they're going to be just right here on YouTube. But once we start getting a following and people who are down to watch and view on stream, we'll go ahead and do the live show on Twitch. Excuse me. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start the show here. Let's see. Let me put this up here. So during the show here, it has 3 segments of the show. The first is going to be any facts, first impressions, and general thoughts about the film. And then part 2 is going to be the big meat of it all, where we talk about pros and cons of the film, where we give our last final thoughts after we've, shared our criticisms, and then we score it out of 10. And then part 3 is going to be the live discussion with chat, and this is going to be for when we start doing these on Twitch. But in the meantime, since we are just doing YouTube right now, we're just going to have the 2 segments. And for the second segment, when we do talk about the pros and cons and the scoring, if you wanted to know how we're scoring, you have it right over there. There. So those are the criteria that we're going to be talking about. So hopefully this podcast will give you, or the show rather, will give you an idea of how the movie was, at least from our points of view, or my point of view. And actually, we will also be having some special guests on the show. These are going to be my friends who like to watch movies as well. But if you want to be part of the show, feel free, let me know. Just hit me up either on the socials. We have all our socials right up here. Again, if you want to be part of the club, Cineaste Cinema Club on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And then the shows will be on Twitch.tv and YouTube at Mickey P33. So contact me anywhere there and let me know if you want to be on the show and share your thoughts with me. So that being said, again, let's go ahead here and show off. Get a slideshow going there, and we'll go ahead and talk about Mulan. Again, this is going to be the first episode. There hasn't been any movies that have come out recently because of COVID. The theaters are closed. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, or Face the Music, has come out. But I haven't, to be honest, I haven't seen the originals. So we might watch that and then do a review on that. This weekend, we're going to go ahead and watch, or we, as in me and my friend, we're going to go watch Tenet, and we'll have the review next week. So let's go ahead and start talking about Mulan here. So again, for part 1, we're going to just give our overall thoughts, any factoids. So if you didn't know, Mulan released on Disney Plus on September 4. which was last Friday. And you need to be a Disney Plus subscriber and pay a $30 premium. Now, I know a lot of people were like, $30 premium? What the hell? Why, if I'm a Disney Plus, I get it. But they need to make money off the film, right? Now, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's worth it. But you have to understand where they're coming from. They can't do a movie release, so they have to um, sell it at a premium, even if you have Disney Plus. So that may be a turnoff to some of you guys, and I'll let you guys know if it's worth it or not. But if you are gonna drop the money, if you watch it with, 3, 4, 5 people, as long as you're being safe, it's worth it, if you will. Now, again, do I think it was worth it, or it is worth it for what how the movie is? No. To be plain and simple, it's not worth it. I would wait until December when it comes out for free if you're a Disney Plus subscriber, or I don't know, have a friend who wants to watch it and go watch it with them, if as long as they're paying footing the bill. But don't spend your money on it. It's not worth it. Though the movie releasing on Disney Plus did increase Disney Plus subscriptions by 68%, based on an article in Forbes. Now, a little bit more about the film. This is a PG-13 film, Disney's first PG-13 live action film. I hear initial reviews when it came out. I heard that it's the best Disney live action remake. But I can't attest to that, as I've only seen Lion King and Lady and the Tramp. I haven't seen Beauty. I know. Some of you are saying, "Well, Mike, Aladdin's so good. Beauty and the Beast was so good." I know. I'll get to it. I have Disney Plus, so. But as far as comparing, I can't compare. So, excuse me. Now, again, if you have no idea what this movie's about, this is not a musical. There's no music at all. It's more of a sweeping epic, or like an action epic film. So if you're going in expecting a musical or music, it's not there. One of the good things about it is that it is an all Asian cast, and I love that. Mulan is my favorite animated Disney animation, primarily because it features an all Asian cast, or rather, the story is about the Asian culture, and this movie was great because it has an all Asian cast. And I love that Asian culture and Asian actors are being more represented in cinema these past few years. Think of The Farewell, or Crazy Rich Asians, and now Mulan. There was also a lot of drama behind the scenes here. There was drama as far as something about, I believe, the actress who portrays Mulan, Yifei. She supports police brutality, or the Chinese government, something like that. I don't really pay attention to that. I just watch movies. I do look a little bit into that, but I don't really keep up with it. So as far as that kind of stuff, I didn't boycott it. A lot of people are saying boycott Mulan. I didn't boycott it, and I really don't care too much about that. As far as that doesn't affect my my review, I would say, I guess. So again, the big question, is it worth the $30? No, it's not. I might have enjoyed it a little more if it was playing in the theaters, or if I watched it in the theaters, because the cinematography and the sound is good. But again, when you're watching it at home, you don't get that movie-going experience. But overall, the movie is okay. It's a nice film. It's solid. It's well done. it's not terrible, but it's nothing to write home about. A lot of missed opportunities to be a great film, but I do recommend watching it. So if you again can watch it for free or wait until December to till it comes out on Disney Plus for free in December, give it a watch. It's an enjoyable and entertaining movie. Um, but again, don't spend your money on it. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead. Why do I keep saying that? So let's go ahead and move on to the second part of the show, which is going to be the pros and the cons. Um, I like to end on positive notes, so we'll start with the cons. And unfortunately, there are a lot more cons, a little more than there are pros. So let's go ahead and start on that. So the first is going to be pacing issues. Act 1 just breezed on by. I feel like there was no character development. It very much skimmed through her story and her background and her as in Mulan. I feel like it really relies on your knowledge of you previously watching the 1998 I believe animated version of Mulan. And so it skips some scenes. Maybe I don't know. It seems like it just either was rushed or they didn't spend too much time on certain things. One of the things that I wish they developed more was the interpersonal relationships between her mom and her sister. The sister is a new dynamic in the animated version. Of course, she has her dog, little brother, but she doesn't have necessarily a sibling. So it was weird that they threw in that dynamic. And then with the mom, you can tell the mom in the film was very. She wanted Mulan to be that typical Chinese girl who grows up and just is a perfect wife and whatnot. But they didn't really have any conflicting issues there. They didn't really show that, though. They did show a good relationship between the father and Mulan, which I think was great and well done. But as far as everything else, it just kind of fell flat for me. Same with her love interest. Um, I just didn't believe it. Her camaraderie with the soldiers, the group of soldiers, or the little band of buddies. Um, it didn't feel like they built a relationship. Um, let's see here. Some of the other things here is that there seemed to not have been, again, because I feel like they rushed the act 1, that they didn't have as much of an impact of Mulan leaving to go off to war in the middle of the night compared to the animated version. In the animated version, you see her cut her hair, and it's kind of like this painful, difficult decision that she has to make, but it's for her family, and she doesn't want to dishonor her family, but she decides to do it anyways. And in this one, she looks at the armor, and then the next shot, she has the armor on already, and she's pointing a sword in the camera, and she's off. So you don't get that weight of, oh, this is what she's going through, that emotional impact, you know. And again, I feel like that was one of the biggest problems of the film, is that it relies on your knowledge of watching the animated version. And you know, when it comes to remakes and live action remakes, stuff like that, I like to watch a film based on its own merit, not wanting to compare it to what the original was, or what have you. But again, when they kind of do this, where they rely on the viewers, knowing the story already, um, you know, you compare anyways. Subconsciously. So because of that, I feel it omits a lot of um, important parts of the film that are important to the story or the character arcs, stuff like that. um, and so with all that, I expected more from the screenwriters, from the script. Two of the screenwriters, Rick Jaffa and Amanda Silver, have worked together on Planet of the Apes series, the new ones, Jurassic World, and they're working on Avatar 3. And I love those, the Jurassic World and the Planet of the Apes series. They were great, but I feel like this one kind of fell flat. So a little bit disappointed in them there. Um, Other than that, let's see. Let's go ahead here. I have notes, by the way, because I want to make sure this is in depth and we get all of my thoughts about the film. So for a PG film, I wanted a little more action. Um, you know, they went for like a realistic approach here, by not putting in the music and again making it PG-13 and making it epic, but there was no blood. There was not as much action as I would have wanted. So I feel like the movie was kind of all over the place again, with it wanting to be its own thing, but having the viewers or relying on the viewers' memory of the previous film. Again, it wanted to be realistic by not having the music and just having like a think like a hero or Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, that kind of action epic. Um, so it's like they wanted to go realistic, but then at the same time they didn't because they had those cheese scenes and you have the witch, but then I feel like they dialed it back because we're like, well, we want this, um, but we want it to be realistic. So I feel like they just kind of have. I think they needed to commit to one way or the other. Like I was okay with the no music. I actually loved the score by Harry Williams. He did work on The Martian and The Chronicles of Narnia, so he has a good um, body of work. And I liked here how he had homages to the classic songs. I believe um, I'm not sure if all four of these, but the main songs that you think of when you think Mulan, Reflection, Honor to Us All, Make a Man Out of You, A Girl Worth Fighting For, I believe there were undertones of all of those in the film, which I liked. Um, as far as the continuing on with the music, I didn't really care for Christina Aguilera's new rendition of Reflection. Um, it wasn't, I remember watching the animated version, and when that came on at the end, I was like, I was almost in tears, like, wow, shit, is so good. But this one, I don't know, it just didn't work for me. I would have more preferred Leah Salongas's version. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. She is a Filipino singer, and she was the singing voice for Jasmine and Mulan in the animated movies. So she did like A Whole New World and, of course, all the Mulan songs. Um, though in this new one, they do have Yifei's rendition, like a Chinese version of Reflection, and I like that. But Christina Aguilera's, you know, rendition of it, her new, I didn't care for it. Um, there were other. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh, right here. So again, let's go back to the action. I wanted more action. I feel like for it being PG-13, they could have done a lot more. Um, there are a lot of things that are missing. I feel like when the soldiers are training, um, you know, in the animated version, there's a whole training montage sequence where it shows them progressing little by little and getting better as soldiers. This one, it kind of just showed them training, but it didn't show them, I feel like, progressing and getting better. I mean, it did, but not like, at the end they say, "Oh, we're elite fighters and we can take on these like ninja assassins." And it's like, well, you don't really see them like get that good, you know. Um, it was mostly just Mulan, but again, I wish there was more action. They could have delved a little bit more into the fantastical elements while keeping it maybe not realistic, but just have a live action Mulan and you keep the fantastical elements. I get it, maybe not have the ancestor spirits or Mushu, but I wanted to see more of the chi fighting sequences. Again, those remind me of like Hero, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, these graceful, choreographed um, action sequences. And this one, the action was very over edited. There were a lot of quick cuts, usual to Hollywood's style of editing action. And again, I would have preferred the the editing of action, um, like in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, where these long, long takes, and you can tell that they're choreographed. The visual effects and the CGI in the movie were okay. Um, there are some scenes that were a little, it kind of threw me off a little because it's like, oh, that looks a little funny. One of the ones that stick out in my head is when the Emperor is fighting those guards or whatever, when he's forced to, or when he's baited into coming out of the castle or whatever, um, and he's controlling those like silk, um, like curtain things, and he's like controlling them, and it's like, wait, does he have chi? It was a little weird. But other than that, everything else, as far as the VFX and CGI, they were decent. Um, One of the last things that I had issues with is Yifei's portrayal of Mulan. Now, I liked it. I liked her. Um, I liked her portrayal of it, but her acting kind of just fell flat for me. I feel like there were a lot of moments where you were supposed to feel this emotional weight of her character in like her decisions, and her acting was just kind of stale. It was non-existent, and I didn't feel those things that I know I should have felt. Again, comparing it to how I felt in the similar um, plot points in the animated version. Um, but other than that, let's go ahead and move on to the pros. Now, the pros, I love the cinematography. Mandy Walk, Mandy Walker did a great job filming those beautiful New Zealand landscape shots. They were so beautiful. The director, Nikki Caro, did very well. She's a New Zealand director who's worked with the editor actually on Zookeeper's Wife and Whale Rider. The editor is David Coulson. I think the film was edited, great. The whole movie was directed great. Again, it was shot great. The music and score great. Um, but as far as like the script and um, some of the effects and um, the character development, story, eh, it left more to be desired. Um, Again, a lot of missed opportunities there. Um, the production, along with all the other things, beautiful. I think Grant Major did a wonderful job of getting the period right, the period accurate uh, wardrobe, the garb, um, the the soldiers' uniforms, the armor. I think that was wonderful. He's done stuff like Lord of the Rings series, 2005's King Kong, and X Men Apocalypse. So, um, you know, I wouldn't have expected anything less from him. Again, as far as the characters, I liked watching. I liked seeing an all Asian cast, but again, the character arcs, the portrayal, just you know, didn't. I feel like there could have been a lot more done there. Again, her relationship with her family, with the soldiers, with her friends, or the group of guys. I wanted to see more of them, to be honest. Um, and and the actress Jin Yang, I believe, the witch, played by Li Gong. I think her arc was very predictable. You see her on screen for no more than a few minutes, and she's talking about how she was never treated right and this and that, and you go, okay, well, she's gonna like either turn on Bori Khan, played by Jason Lee Scott, or Jason Scott Lee. I always get those two confused. One of them is the original Red Ranger from Power Rangers, but anyways, um, you can tell that she was gonna either turn on him or just kind of be good at the end. But other than that, I mean, I liked how Bori Khan, his whole motivation was to get vengeance for his father. It wasn't just, oh, I just want to rule China. Um, let's see here, what else? I like that they split Li Shang's character into two. We had the Donnie Yen character, and I forget the other guy's name. The commander, and then another fellow soldier who believes in her. I think it would have been a little weird if she had a crush on Donnie Yen, which, I mean, hey, he's a talented, good-looking dude, but um, I think it would have been weird. Um, Other than that, again, I didn't buy the love interest in Mulan. I didn't buy her camaraderie with the soldiers. I wanted more for her relationship with her mom and sister. Um, so revolving Mulan, it eh, it fell flat. Again, I don't know what else to say other than it fell flat. Um, it was cool seeing Ming Na Wen, her little cameo at the end. If you didn't notice that, she was the one who introduced Mulan to the Emperor officially. Um, and if you didn't know, Ming Na Wen was the voice of Mulan in the 1998 animated version. So that was pretty cool. It was like Mulan introducing the new Mulan, which was nice. And I also like the theme of the film, to be true to yourself, and not hide your inner beauty, and family comes first type of thing. But I was pointed out by someone that there is a big flaw, I guess, which kind of takes away the impact of the overall theme of a message of the film, which is that um, you know, you just have to be the chosen one. She had this chi, no one else had chi, none of these guys had chi. Um, so if it kind of seemed like the message of the movie was, if you're the chosen one, if you have these special powers, you can be great and accomplish so many things. Whereas I feel like the 1998 animated version was more, as if you work hard and train your mind and your body, you can achieve this peak potential and, do things beyond your wildest imagination. She was able to defeat the Huns by just all this stuff just by working hard. And you kind of relate to that, and here you don't really relate to Mulan, because it's like, yeah, she trained and stuff, but I mean, mostly it was just, oh, she has powers, she has this chi, and then her only thing was not really training that. It was more so just I decided not to hide my powers, and so now I'm showing off my powers and I'm beating everyone. I don't know. It just that was a big turnoff for me when someone pointed that out, and didn't like it really. Um, but anyways, let's go ahead. Now that we got the pros and cons here, let's do any final closing thoughts here. My closing thoughts, final thoughts on the film. I'll wait again to watch it on Disney Plus when it's free in December, and I suggest you do too if you haven't, or if you're on the fence about seeing it. Don't spend the money. Save it. Uh, I would have probably liked it a little bit more if I saw it in theaters. Um, Overall, it is an entertaining film. It's a solid, well done, kind of action film if you just kind of take it for that, not really kind of go into the story and compare it to the animated version. Not too bad. Um, but other than that, a lot of missed opportunities. So my final score here for Mulan was going to be a 7 out of 10. Again, I think it was a solid film, but just a lot of it could have been a lot better, and I expected a lot more for it being my favorite, Disney animated film. So anyways, that's gonna wrap up the show here today. Thank you guys again for watching and supporting. To be up to date with what movies we're gonna be watching and reviewing, and again, if you want to watch these reviews, follow Mickey P33 on twitch.tv for the live show, or youtube.com/Mickey P33 for the VOD afterwards. Again, if you want to be part of the show, follow the socials all above there. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Cinéaste Cinema Club. You can go ahead and follow, show your support. Let me know what movies you guys want to watch with me together that we can discuss. And just keep up to date when I have new reviews coming out. Again, if you prefer audio only, we are on Spotify and all your podcasting platforms. So other than that, let me know what you guys think about this review. If it was too long, if there are other criteria that you want to hear about. I don't think I told rewatch it a little bit. I told never mind. Rewatchability. I'm gonna watch it again, but I'm not gonna go rush out to the theaters or anything. I just realized I forgot about that. Anyways, so let me know what you guys thought about the review, what you guys thought about Mulan down in the comments below here on YouTube. Other than that, I will catch you guys on the flippity flop. Thank you very much for watching.